first and foremost, my name is Morgan Rountree with Morgan Rountree Realty, and I really want to show you and help you see that there is a good way and a better way than just stressing and not making any decisions on being able to buy, sell, move in, and not have to stress over that whole process. There are going to be times that it is stressful. I can't take all of it away. My goal is to take a good bit of it away, but I can't mitigate all of it. So there are going to be those times that we have to work through it together, through the highs and the lows. It just is what it is. But one of the best ways that you can do this, if you are selling and then using funds from that sale to purchase, is if you have a place to stay in between, do your closing a day or two separate. So close on the sale of your house, collect funds, and have them sent directly to the closing attorney for the new house that you're purchasing. And then while you are purchasing that property, you can be staying somewhere else for a couple of days waiting for that closing, and then move all your stuff in on closing day after you've closed on that property. Now, sometimes that takes a little bit more planning, because where do you put all your stuff? Well, if it's already in a storage unit, then it doesn't matter. If you're having to use a moving truck or something of that capacity, I highly suggest using the pods, because those, they can hold them for you. They can, go ahead and deliver them where you want it to go. There's a lot of different options, and you can also negotiate that. So we could look at it and say, hey, we are not going to close until 2 days later, but we want to go ahead and put the pod in the front yard. We can negotiate that during, the contract time. That being said, we can also do dual closing. So we can either try and get the sale of your home's attorney the same as the purchase of your next home's attorney. That way we can close on the same day. Funds are in-house and we don't have to wire them from one attorney to the next. When we do the sale of your house, we would do it in the morning. And then that way the funds are there. You have the funds from the sale of your property. And then later that afternoon, you purchase the new property. The funds are already in office. All they have to do is have the paperwork ready. We did this. Now, we had to use 2 different lawyers, so it can still work that way. But we sold in Springfield and closed that morning at 10:30. And then we actually negotiated to bring all of our belongings, to include our animals, to drop off at the new house. And then we dropped everything off, and then we went down to Darien and closed at 4:30 with our lawyer down there. So those are 2 options that you could do. Another option is a rent back or lease back, where essentially you sell the house and you negotiate to be able to stay in the house X amount of days after closing. You do pay a nominal fee to the buyer for those days or weeks that you're there, but that does allow you time to stay in the house, finish packing up, close on your next house and have the funds for it, and then be able to move everything over without the stress of trying to do it all in one day or just in a weekend. So there's a couple of different options as far as selling and then purchasing. Now, if we're talking purchasing without having to sell, whether you just don't have to sell the home that you already own and you're going to rent it out, or you're a first-time buyer, or you are renting for whatever reason. Maybe you've purchased before, but now you wanted to rent for a little while, and so now you're actually buying. Most of the time, we can get that lined up with whenever your lease is up or wherever your rent is up. That's usually pretty easy. We can get that lined up, and we can just have it to where you are going to move in the day or 2 before your lease is up. And that way you don't have to break your lease. You don't have to spend a bunch of money to break your lease. We have to be strategic. Unless you just find a house that is the absolute perfection of what you are looking for and you're willing to buy out of your lease, we start looking towards the end, because we don't want to cost you any more money than we absolutely have to. And if you don't have to pay to get out of a lease, then that's ideal. So there's a lot of nuances with it, and I want to touch on the next video about the financing side of it and what it kind of takes to get that ball rolling. But I think some people just think about the process of packing your entire life into boxes and moving it, and it sucks. I will be the first to tell you, I recently did it. I've been in your shoes. It does suck, but for about this long. if I'm being honest. It sucks for such a short time that it does not outweigh the benefit of actually making the move and not being complacent. So I will see you over the next video, and we will talk about the financial side of, purchasing a house and how it would work as far as selling and using funds to purchase and things like that, or even to invest. So I'll see you over the next video.